Good evening, everyone. I'll now call the meeting, the Quinte West Planning Advisory Committee meeting for October to order. And without further ado, I will get right into the agenda for this evening, and I've asked for any disclosures of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. None noted. Oh, Councillor McHugh?
Yes, Chair Elliott, thank you. Yes, I've declared and filed the necessary papers with the clerk. I'll be refraining from voting or any discussion on approval of minutes due to the fact that my wife and I had a piece of land that was subject to a zoning change the last meeting.
Okay, thank you very much, and be duly noted. Thank you. Okay, now I'm going to move now to the approval agenda. Before I do that, I'm going to ask Kelly maybe to explain why our agendas are a little sparse tonight, and I know Brian told me what it was, but just for the committee's own interest, and also whoever might be looking online that thinking maybe we should be dealing with certain applications. So before we get into that, I just thought maybe you might want to explain what's been going on, and I'll leave it to your hands.
Sure, through you, Mr. Chair. So due to the Canadian postal strike, we weren't 100% sure that our notification for those applications that were scheduled for October's meeting were going to get through to everybody. So we wanted to make sure that we meet our legislative requirements. So we pushed all of those applications, which there are 4, 1 OP and then 3 rezoning applications. We're going to push those to the November meeting. And I understand that the postal strike is sort of still up in the air. They're doing their rotating. So we actually had a discussion today that we are going to do a little bit of extra for notification. We are going to put things in the mail earlier than what we are legislatively required to do. We're going to probably post in the newspaper, and we will be posting on our website, and then of course we always post on the properties as well. So we're going to try and get the message out there for those applications.
Thank you very much, Kelly. Much appreciated. All right, at this time then, I will ask a approval of the agenda as presented. Moved by Gerard, second by Councillor Quinte. Any further questions or comments? All in favor? Carried, thank you. I would now ask for an approval of the minutes of September the 18th. And any questions or comments or any errors you might have found? Mayor Harrison moves. Second, Ms. Simmons. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried, thank you. Okay, we'll now get into the public meetings as prescribed under the Planning Act. The public meetings are conducted as prescribed by Section 3413 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, as amended for one zoning bylaw amendment application affecting land in all wards. The meeting will be conducted in the following manner for each application. First, I will identify the application being considered. Then I will ask planning staff to outline the application being considered. Then ask if there are any members of the public who have registered in advance to attend and participate in the meeting, and have any questions or comments regarding each application. If there are no public comments or questions, I will ask the committee if they have any questions or comments. Once all committee questions have been addressed, the committee will consider and vote on each application. If you wish to provide comments, please state your name and address for the record prior to addressing the committee. The committee has been delegated the responsibility to conduct public meetings as prescribed under the Planning Act. A full report of the meeting's proceedings will be submitted to City Council on Wednesday, November the 19th, 2025. Council will make the decision on each stated application. Anyone other than the applicant who wishes to receive further notice of Council's decision on each application must submit a written request for notice of Council's decision to the Director of Planning and Development Services. I will now ask the Manager of Directing Planning Services, please advise the committee on how these notices will be given this evening. And Kelly, I guess you're that person tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. So notice of the application being considered this evening is for a housekeeping zoning bylaw amendment, and it was given in keeping with the provisions of the Planning Act RSO 1990 as amended by way of newspaper advertisement on September the 25th, 2025. And you can thank me for not trying to do that in a Scottish accent.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that, I don't think, but anyway. We won't go there. All right, we'll get into the first public meeting of the evening, 7.1, Staff Report 25-84 PD, Housekeeping Zoning Bylaw Amendment Number 11. The owner is the City of Quinte West. The location is all wards. File numbers D09/Q27/25. Davina, would you like to address the committee on this application, please?
Through you, Mr. Chair, City Council approved the comprehensive zoning bylaw in 2014, and it is essential to periodically update it to reflect new or evolving provincial legislation, amendments to provincial policy, changes to the official plan, and general housekeeping matters. The proposed amendment includes general technical and administrative updates to improve clarity, address minor errors, and reestablish certain provisions that were omitted in error. Specifically, the amendment updates the definition of watercourse to provide greater clarity and alignment with provincial terminology. It revises provisions related to accessory buildings and structures to clarify minimum separation distances. It updates the Bay of Quinte setback provision to reflect the correct geodetic elevation. It reintroduces a site-specific agricultural exception and amends minimum interior side yard requirements in the seasonal camp zone for greater consistency. To date, no public or agency comments have been received, and these changes are technical in nature and ensure consistency with the provincial planning statement and the city's official plan, and maintains the intent of the comprehensive zoning bylaw. This application is recommended for approval.
Okay, thank you very much. Do we have anyone in attendance who wishes to address this application and general questions or opposition?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I hope that this in particular recognizes the what you would call the watercourse and no water in it. You'll find in many places this year has hit a lot of our streams pretty hard, and you'll see that the course likely is still there, but there's no water at all, even in ponds. So I just hope this addresses all of that kind of particular environment that we're experiencing.
Through you, Mr. Chair, if I might, so this definition is the definition that was pulled from the Conservation Authority's changes. So we're just using the same language that they are using. We put it in our OP, and now we're putting it in the zoning bylaw.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I know that the Conservation Authority would have a particular definition that they've been using for years. And it's fine, except this year is an exception to any definition, as far as I'm concerned. So somehow we got to make sure that we're recognizing the course, the stream used to be there, and right now the bottom of that particular course is as hard as cement. So
Well, I know the other one that has caused some, I guess, concern with property owners, and that is the unevaluated wetlands, which has nothing to do with the main water course or what have you, because they look at depressions that normally, I guess, unless you have snow melt or heavy rain, that holds water. But I think this definition you're talking about has the more of the recognized water courses than the unevaluated ones that are out in a field, we'll put it that way, or an open piece of ground. And But yeah, there's certainly a lot of water courses that aren't there right now, that's for sure, because of lack of water. And I know the lake and the bay is down and going down, as Councilor McHugh can attest to, and Ms. Simmons probably is your waterfront. So you have a question, ma'am?
I just didn't know whether it could be amended or not. Sorry. I didn't know if it could be amended to include except in times of drought or some sort of thing to, because this is an exceptional, but it may be. Like, I do disagree with that wording, because which regularly or continuously occurs, because this year has been with the drought. You know, I agree, there are streams that are no longer have any water in them. So looking forward, are you going to, next year may be totally different. So I don't know how they can amend that so it would reflect periods of drought.
Kelly, any comment on that, would you say, or
Like I
another
said, This
definition or
is
something?
a definition that's coming from the work and the changes from the Conservation Authorities Act, so we're just abiding by as it comes down the chain for us, right?
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Councilor Quince?
Yeah, because thanks on this particular topic, it just says they're using the word regularly or continuously. Do they have further definitions on what regularly or continuously, what they deem those to be? Under the Conservation Authority or any other authority? Like, what regularity? Are we talking months, weeks, years? Same with continuously.
Through you,
Like-
Mr. Chair, I would have to go back to the Conservation Authority to ask if they have those terms defined in a document, maybe in their policy document. I think particularly probably the wording that Mr. Mayor is alluding to is we used the Conservation Authority, sorry, not me, not we, that they used to use the word intermittent, and that has been removed. So yeah, regularly to me still could be replaced with intermittent, I think, but we definitely can take that back if the committee would like us to get some more clarification on if they have those words defined.
So I guess if I'm an applicant wanting to build something and I'm going to come to the city of Quinte West to get my building permit, and the city of Quinte West goes through all of their authorities in regards to the application process, is only the Conservation Authority going to be the one that stops at a depression in the ground, or are there other authorities that are also going to stop at a depression in the ground when it comes to a building permit?
Yeah, it
Kelly?
would be the Conservation Authority that would talk about whether it's a watercourse or not under that definition for them, because then they would regulate that feature and permits may be required depending on where the development is within relation to that watercourse.
So they still have to go through the exact same process, and the Conservation Authority is able to make their comment in regards to the application and then give their opinion on what course of action the applicant would have to take, if any, to proceed with their build.
Correct, yeah.
Okay?
Any other questions or comments regarding the, sure, Councilor McHugh?
How does this apply to a farmer who's doing tile drainage and is bringing the water out and say it flows across a portion of his land to get to the ditch? The swale was put in by the farmer. He wants to do a severance. Could he change the course of water on his own property so it enters a ditch someplace else coming off his property to accommodate a severance? I just know of a case where a ditch was made or cleaned out and the gentleman had a problem. They called it a natural water course, and it was just put in to get water away from the property, and it brought water from a neighbor's property. It was just helping a neighbor so water could find it away. And they said, sorry, but you've got a water course and you got some of these water plants growing in it in the front of the property. Now your house has got to be set back such a great distance, and this swale or drain was put in to help his neighbor with drainage he had across his property. So I guess I'm assuming most tile drains come out to a ditch. A ditch is a water course, but I can't see anybody. I wouldn't call that a water course myself. It's not flowing all the time to impede a severance. But what if you've got a field and you're draining water from one field into another field and it runs across that field to a ditch? Do I now have a water course on my other field of my property that I'm subject to all these rules and regulations?
Through you,
Kelly?
Mr. Chair, yeah, it may be, it would be a possibility, but the Conservation Authority would make that determination through site visits and looking at whether it meets that definition or not.
I guess what I'm saying is, if it's a water course, can it physically be changed? Could, in this case, if they say, yes, the waters come out here and run across here for the last 15 years you've been farming here. Fellows, I don't want to farm anymore. I've sold the property. Somebody wants to sever land, and part of where they want to build a house is where this entrance come out. Could they then say, well, instead of bringing it south, I'll divert it east or west to the ditch? That's what I'm saying. If it's a man-made one, I can see nature. But if it's a stream or a pond or a river, I understand that. But in a case where someone's trying to alleviate water from theirs or the neighbor's property, does it automatically become a waterway that cannot be changed again or diverted someplace else? It was obviously man-made to divert water one way, so they say, I've decided today I want to divert it the other way. As long as it's not impeding the neighbor's property, that's my only concern.
Yeah, conservation's call to have to look at that to make a call whether or not it, because yes, it may have started out as something that was man-made, but as time goes on and nature takes over, then it may be subject to more natural processes. And so it might meet the definition, then the Conservation Authority may say we regulate it.
Okay. Any other questions, comments?
I think what
Mr. Mayor?
the councillor is talking about is very true, and that does happen. And when you tile drain, you have to have your tile outlet taken to an approved drainage course. You can't, the city doesn't have to take it in our ditches. It doesn't, we don't have to agree to that, but in some cases we do. But it has to be taken to an approved outlet, and usually the approved outlet is by the Conservation Authority. So, yeah, and you got to keep in mind, if someday somebody wants to build on this particular piece of property, and you've got road frontage and so on, then you got to be very careful what you do, how it impacts you and your family.
Ms. Simmons, I think you have a question?
I still think the wording's too vague, and I didn't know whether it can be improved. So there's less, it's regularly, what is the definition of regularly? Or continuous, that's quite understandable. But what is the definition of regularly? It's open to question.
Regularly or intermittent, I guess is the other word. Yeah. Yeah. Kelly, do you, or Davina, do you suggest that we defer this then to get a different definition, or could we add an amendment to it after, or I just leave it up to you to which is the best way to deal with this?
So like I said, this definition is already in our official plan. We've already made that change because it is coming from the province through the conservation authorities to us. So we're not going to change their definition because then the province is going to say, hey, wait a minute, you can't do that. So, no, I don't make a suggestion that you would defer this at all.
Okay. And I guess the other thing that could be done, if there's a particular piece of property, it could be debated at the time, I guess, to see if there's any movement, I guess, one side or the other, which way the definition should be looked at, I would think. But as there is in a lot of the severances you see, and I know sitting on the board out there, we do get some hearings, and we have to sometimes look at them in a different manner. So, and I know, Kelly, you worked there as a planner for a number of years too, so you have some background on it also. So, anyway, any other questions from the committee regarding any portions of this amendment? Ms. Simmons?
About the minimum interior side yard for trailer park or camp or seasonal camp, it's not retroactive, I assume. It's going forward.
Okay, staff, I'll let you maybe comment on that for sure.
Through you, Mr. Chair, yeah, we are recognizing what's already existing, so it will be from now on, yeah.
So anything that's not in compliance will be grandfathered then in that sense. Okay. Well, that's good to know because I know of a few around close to us there that could cause a little consternation, I'll put it that way, for the time being until, I guess, they've done a redevelopment down the road. So, any other questions or comments? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the recommendation. Moved by Councillor McHugh, seconded by Mr. Edison. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried, thank you. Your comments regarding the applications and staff reports have been recorded and will be forwarded to the members of council. Together with the minutes of this meeting, council will make a decision to approve or refuse each stated application at the regularly scheduled council meeting of Wednesday, November the 19th. We now move to public input. Anyone for public input? Seeing none, okay. Presentations, we have none. Delegations, none. Decision items, none. We move to item 12, printed information. You have 12.1 monthly planning and development reports, A and B, building report and zoning bylaw. And I would entertain a motion to accept and any questions you might have about either of those items. Councilor O'Neill, move. And do you have a question?
Yes, I do too. I can see through you to staff, I can see the rationale why we've put off these applications. I have a couple concerns by putting them off. One is we have a benchmark for the number of days to do the applications. And two is it going to hold up developers that want to get going on these projects? I can see why it's done, but I have a couple concerns by deferring them, and hopefully that it doesn't cause these problems, or we make sure we don't try and cause these problems in the future.
Kelly?
So through you, Mr. Chair. Yes, definitely, we will probably not be meeting our legislative timelines on these applications. However, it's out of our hands, and I would hope that the province is not going to smack our hands because we're not meeting them, given the postal strike. It is really out of our hands. And in terms of development, we have informed all of those applicants, and my staff have not indicated to me that anybody was ranting and raving. They were all just like, okay, we understand, and we'll wait till November.
So, Councilor O'Neill, you moved it. Mr. Brown, you had your hand up. Do you want a second or a question? Okay, second. J.D. Brown. Any further questions or comments regarding those two items? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried, thank you. And now we move to item 13, non-printed. We have none. And now we'll go with quick press for information. Ms. Simmons, we'll start and go around with none. Mr. Brown?
Just want to say go Jays.
I second it.
Keep the rhythm going from last night. Aaron?
Good, thank you.
No, thank you. Councilor O'Neill? No. Mayor Saracen, anything else?
Thank you.
All quiet tonight.
Okay. Gerard?
Nothing, Chair.
And then we got Zach on the TV here. Anything from you tonight, Zach?
Nothing tonight, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Without further ado, then, I guess our next regular meeting will be scheduled for Thursday, November the 20th at 6 p.m. And I guess we'll stay tuned as to how things will be lined up for that meeting, but hopefully we'll have a little more business to do. And at this time, I would ask for the hard motion to adjourn. Gerard? Ms. Simmons? All in favor? No opposals? Okay, carried. Meeting adjourned. Thank you very much for your attendance.